Okay, so now Tony and I would like to address the third fundamental that we talked about, which was sway, and see how we can incorporate that with good posture.
Okay, so normally what happens with sway, if it's happening incorrectly, kind of like how we were talking about bad posture before to good posture, we're going to talk about bad sway and get it to good sway.
So that's what they talk about when they talk about breaking your side.
Exactly. So when people are breaking their sides, what's normally happening is they're trying to sway, but they're swaying from their frame line and tipping. So you can see how right now I'm breaking my sides. So my center of levitation and center of gravity, which is lined up, if I just break my sides, now there's like a curve going on here. It's curved. So I've broken my left side here. Now I've broken my right side. So my hip line didn't change and I tipped my top.
So if we were doing a step, for example, the box step, and we didn't have a lot of power or swinging action, then we might be trying to recreate what we'd seen on videotapes or something like that, DVDs, where the couples have a lot of sway, but we're doing it from the wrong place.
So we're tipping our side from side to side now. So we're tipping our top. So we're tipping our frame now from side to side. So our elbows are dropping down.
So how can we maintain that straight line through our center and still get that sway?
So sway, if we tilt through the hips, so if we have like a feeling, and you can try this at home, of just have your feet shoulder width apart and swinging your hips from side to side, and we have the sense that we're a pendulum action. So if my hips were swinging from side to side, you can see that the center of levitation and center of gravity is lined up on top of the hips rather than breaking on top.
So in order to do that, we need to have slightly flexed knees, so we can actually swing, because on straight legs, you can't swing your hips very far. And that ties in with the whole idea of the lowering to
move,
to swing, and then the sway comes out of it.
Okay, so as we go into a step, we're going back, and then we have the feeling of our hip releasing down on our left side and up on the right if we were going to do a lady's natural turn right now, and then that we're lined up on top of here. But some people still have a sense of doing this and still break their sides.
Well, the reason that the hip's going to release out to that side is because your leg's swinging out in that direction. And also, if you kept your hip down, your leg wouldn't be able to go out very far.
Right, so if we just like leave our hip down, I can't get my leg out to the side as easily.
So it's a very natural thing, actually.
Right. Okay, so then from here, still people break their sides. Even though they might be doing the correct thing underneath, what happens, they've released the hip and they still tip down.
So you still have that angle going down towards the ground.
Right, so now we're going to give you a little exercise to try and help that. So instead of breaking the sides, what we're going to do is give you an exercise called high jumping, okay, which will help you solve this.
Right, so there's an event in the Olympics called the high jump, and the technique they tend to use these days is called the Fosbury flop, which is where they actually go backwards over the high jump.
Right.
So Tony's going to demonstrate that because she's really good at that.
No, I'm not. I can only do it from the ground. Okay, so if you imagine my arms are as the high jump bar, I wouldn't lower.
Sorry, Tony.
That's okay.
So the bar's coming across here.
So I wouldn't lower.
Across there, right?
Yeah, exactly. So right near my center of levitation where I'm going to lift from. So I wouldn't lower my arm to get over the bar, or I wouldn't lower the bar. I would stretch up and over the bar. Okay.
So we're going up and over the bar.
So now what's happening when you're swaying is you want to feel like you release the hip, but then the side of the hip that's going down, you don't want to feel like your frame follows it down. You want to feel like it stays parallel to the floor. You release the hip and that you do a high jumping action over the arm.
So actually it's like a T-bar, but as the spine swings, the T-bar kind of stays more level as opposed to tipping with the spine.
Now it doesn't mean that you can't stretch the other side up. So you will see a reflection of the hips in the frame, so you'll see the other side lift up a little bit, but what we don't want to see is the side dropping down. So you feel like you'd shape up and over the left arm, and then you could shape up and over the right arm. Now, final little part on this is that you don't have to be looking this way as you're doing the high jumping. Okay, so if we just did a natural turn on the first half, right here you can see that I'm high jumping up and over this left arm. Michael could turn to face me here, so it looks like we're both high jumping up over this way, but he can be looking out over here. Now as he goes back, if we did the back half of the natural turn. Now right here, as we go back, now this side is the high jump. So you can see I could look here, or I can still be in that high jump position so I don't drop my side, but I could keep my head out to the left.
So actually what happens is, when we did that second shape coming through here, when the hip swung out to my right and Tony's left, the distance between your elbow and your hip increased.
Yeah.
But the distance on this side didn't decrease.
Right.
Because you swung this side up.
Exactly. So we won't tip down. So again, a broken side is this, and then correct sway is stretching away from it. Okay.
Okay, great.
So that's how to do sway while keeping good posture.